Hi, I'm Ben Preston with the New York Daily News, and we're here today with the 2018 Honda Civic Touring, one of our DNA Award winners. It's really hard to find fault with this car. Honda, as always, builds solid, reliable cars, and this year's model, a carryover from the past 2 years, looks really good too. It turns in more than decent fuel economy numbers and is very usable as well. Let's take a closer look. I remember back in the mid-2000s when the Civic and even the Accord looked kind of edgy and futuristic, but in a goofy way. I wasn't a big fan. They've come a long way with their styling since then. I mean, this car looks good. It looks good from all sides. The proportions are right. The Fastback roofline looks good too, even though it does cause some problems with cargo accessibility, but I'll get into that later. I'm testing the Touring model, which is one of the higher ones in the Civic lineup. So it's got some nice touches like brushed aluminum dash accents and really nice seats. I mean, they have this little fake carbon fiber stripe that looks pretty cool. The quality of the interior is good. The fit and finish is nice. I mean, this doesn't feel like an economy car. This car kind of reminds me of the older Accords in terms of its size. You know, everything gets bigger. The Honda Accord's a big car now. It's got plenty of space. The back seat's roomy and comfortable. Even the middle seat is comfortable. I really like the center stack infotainment screen. It's big, but it doesn't dominate the dash. It doesn't stick out. I was a little disappointed that it didn't come with knobs for the volume and the tuning of the radio. I mean, you do have these steering wheel controls. The infotainment system isn't super logical. It's easy enough to figure out. But when you first start messing with it, it's kind of like, okay, what menu is the trip computer on, and how do I change the settings on the climate control? I think the climate control could also have a couple of more buttons on the dash, because you have to turn on the display on the center stack screen to change stuff on the climate control. It's easier when it's all just right there. For a small car, the Civic has a pretty big trunk. It's 15 cubic feet. And the seats fold pretty much flat, almost completely flat, which is great. Because of the fastback shape of the roof, the trunk opening is pretty small. So if you had bulky items, it'd be difficult to fit them through it. Honda has an easy solution for the cargo hole problem, and that's the hatchback version of this car. It's really a no-brainer for me. You know, you can pay $1,200 more on top of the base price of this car and get a hatchback that looks essentially the same as the sedan version. I don't know why anyone would buy the sedan, honestly. Most Civics come with a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. The two base models come with a naturally aspirated 2-liter, but I think most people are going to go with the 1.5 because you get a little bit better acceleration and you get better gas mileage with it. The EPA rates the 2-liter at 31 miles per gallon in the city and 40 on the highway, but the 1.5 gets little boosts with 32 city, 42 highway, which is about as good as you're going to get in any car on the market, other than hybrids and diesels. You're not going to win any drag races with the 1.5-liter, but it accelerates smoothly and it accelerates well, especially on the freeway when you need to merge. You know, it pulls pretty good. The base transmission in a Civic is a 6-speed manual. I would prefer that, but most people like automatics, which in this car is a CVT, or continuously variable transmission. CVTs aren't everybody's cup of tea. I mean, they give you the ideal RPM band for the best power and efficiency. They tend to sound a little buzzy. This one's not bad. The CVT in this car is pretty quiet. I didn't feel like it was making the engine scream or anything. And this is a quiet car anyway. The Civic starts out at $18,800, and the one we tested, the Touring model, came in at around $28,000. It's difficult to find words for a car that's so nondescript when you're driving it, but that's part of the charm of the Civic. It doesn't intrude itself in ways that you don't want. It's completely dependable and easy to drive in situations that you'd rather not be thinking about what you're driving. For the daily grind, for someone who's single or a couple or a small family, this is the perfect car. Especially you live in the city and you need something small that gets decent gas mileage. Still, the sedan seems kind of pointless to me. If you're going to get this car, you might as well have the utility of the hatchback along with all of the other strengths it offers. I've heard people say, why buy a Civic when you could buy an Accord, a larger car, for only a few $1,000s extra? Number one, fuel economy. Number two, overall size. The Civic ekes a lot of interior space out of a car with small exterior dimensions. It feels roughly the same size as the Accord my grandparents drove back in the early 90s. The Honda Civic has long been a favorite with economy car buyers, and with recent improvements in aesthetics and interior comfort, it continues to be a compelling option. I'm Ben Preston with the New York Daily News. Thanks for watching.